This might be a thoughtful and balanced view in a British newspaper. Maybe. Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. This old Danny Baker thing is like... I grew up on Danny Baker. I remember every Saturday my dad used to play hockey. Hockey! Trying to make hockey sound hard. Hockey! He used to be, Danny Baker's on Radio 5 Live. I just hear him on the radio every Saturday when we go out. You have to go watch my dad play. Wherever he was kids. You know, Danny Baker is a Millwall supporter, which I think probably goes against him in this situation. Thing is, ill-advised. Yes. Someone like there's been too many of these sort of incidences, especially involving monkeys. Been too many too much monkeying around, hasn't there? Has there been too much monkeying around? Or blackface instances, you've had the Gucci thing, H&M. People's main criticisms of Danny Baker is that he didn't think anything would happen from this, which is interesting. As in, he should have been, he's a bit ignorant. But to lose your job over just being ignorant about something or not properly thinking, everyone's fucking guilty. Everyone's guilty. So, why are we all casting stones? Because we're in the stone casting culture. That's what it is. It's not outrage culture. It's a judgmental culture. It's a deflective thing. I think it's more of a self-defense mechanism. It's more of a case of I deflected away from me. Yeah, I didn't do that. Mob mentality. Pathetic. That's what it is. It's pathetic. I know that if I put that picture up, if I'd actually put it up, I definitely would have been doing it without thinking. I would have tried to be deliberately doing something. I'm not saying that I would, but do you know what I mean? It's I know. And I don't think everyone does. So if you're guilty of being ignorant, well, don't throw someone under the bus for just not thinking things through. And I think the more of it is that, he's ignorant to the culture of outrage that we live in right now. Which is the weirdest. That was kind of the vibe I've been getting off a lot of comments I've been seeing. Is that in today's sort of climate, isn't he a bit dumb and foolish and thoughtless, to not know that this would happen, which is kind of weird. Not that this will cause offence. It's no, he should have known this was happening, and that's why people are angry at him. Some people are angry at him because he should have known this would happen. But doesn't that reflect on all of us more than it reflects on him? Is that the first thing we see is this is kind of being programmed into us now. It's the first thing we see is some sort of is racist, it's homophobic, whatever it is. As in, that's the first thing we see. I think our minds are fucking polluted. Our minds are polluted. I thought by this time, this point in time, 2019, years and years ago, I thought we were really on the right track and this would be done with. There'd be no discussion about dropping the M-bomb. It'd be nothing. It'd just be what's that? Nothing. The whole thing of comparing black people to monkeys is from such an old era. I know across Europe you get, the monkey chanting at football matches and shit like that still goes on. But, they're dirty Europeans. What do you expect from them? But, see, there's a little clever joke I did that. But, it's kind of sad that you could, you can call a little white kid, go, you cheeky little monkey. But you couldn't call a little black kid, you cheeky little monkey. Isn't that kind of sad? You have to watch your tongue around certain people because it will just trigger them. And it might not even trigger them. It will trigger people on their behalf. And trust me, I've been one of those people who used to get triggered on people's behalves when I was younger. So I know how it goes. I just think it's kind of depressing that that's like our major concerns, is that when the real root of a lot of problems is something else. And in fact, it's something that's way more complicated. But so many people try to just, think the way to solve a lot of problems is to simplify it. And so it's this, and it's this, it's this. It's racial inequality. It's sexism. It's this and this. Whereas actually there's so many nuances and different things that people just can't be bothered to think. I think that maybe that's part of the cause, isn't it? It's like people just can't be fucked. People are fucking lazy in the mind to come up with real solutions and to listen to real solutions and to discuss real solutions. They go, no, it's this, and watch me be angry, because the angrier I am, the more important it is. It's like, shut the fuck up. This kind of outrage is not productive in terms of the bigger picture. Like, the bigger picture is fucking lost. It's lost. It's almost dead. Now it's just like this kind of bullshit. You shouldn't, like, to lose your job over that is just meh. It's just meh. Because that's the thing, if you're looking at everything with racially charged lenses, like the H&M incident, the woman, whose kid it was, didn't see any problem with it. And then everyone was attacking her, saying it was the parents' fault and blah, blah, blah. Well, maybe she has moved beyond, like, comparing herself to a monkey or being compared to a monkey. Maybe she thinks someone compares you to a monkey, it's like, what and what? Fuck off. Who cares? I don't care what you have to say, you fucking backward prick. And like, why can't we, like, words are just destructive. But this guy says, we thrive on provocation, but are we too quick to punish those who stray? Says Keenan Malik. One can feel Danny Baker's tweet was racist and still wish for more generosity in response. So there's something shocking and absurd about Danny Baker's tweet of a photograph of a posh couple with a costume monkey in response to the arrival of the royal baby. You didn't have to be an expert in the history of racist images to recognize its implications. Just last year, the US comedian Roseanne Barr was sacked and a newly resurrected show pulled for a tweet in which she likened a former black advisor to Barack Obama to a child of the Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes. There was something equally absurd about Baker's defense of his tweet. It never occurred to me that it was racist, he tweeted, because mind, not diseased. I can't see racism in front of my eyes because I'm not a racist. It's not exactly a coherent answer, nor is it implication that only a diseased mind would have recognized the racism particularly clever. I think, the point though, the diseased mind. The following day, Baker provided a more reasoned response, formally apologizing for a genuine, naive and catastrophic mistake, adding, I fucked up badly. He suggested he was trying to make a point about class, not race, and to lampoon privilege. He has a history of posting pictures of costume apes to mock poshness. It's hard to fathom, though, how someone as steeped in the culture of football and music as Baker could not recognize the racist implications of his tweet. After all, much of the past year has been dominated by discussions about fat ballers? What am I talking about? Black footballers facing monkey chants. No, it's not the past year. It's like, monkey chants been around for a very long time. Just to put a point across. Part of the problem, perhaps, is the way social media has encouraged people to be provocative for the sake of it, and at the same time it has eroded boundaries between the public and the private. Baker is infamous for his rage-filled foul-mouthed tweets, particularly about football. The kind of talk we might once have shared only with friends we knew would not be offended now constantly spills into the public sphere. Desire to be offensive as a mark of authenticity whereas a challenge to authority can often blind people to the real meaning of what's being said. What of Baker's sacking? Many have insisted the BBC had no choice. Others see him as a victim of political correctness of Twitter mobs. Neither view really gets to the heart of the case. People should have the right to be offensive, even racist. I have long opposed the criminalisation of offensive or hateful speech, but those who are offensive or racist must also face the consequences of their views. Yes. Yes, fair enough, yeah. I mean, fair enough. That's part and parcel with it. I mean, yeah. Do these consequences include being sacked? In most cases, no. It's not becoming increasingly common for employers to sack employees for comments made not in the workplace or as part of their job, but as private citizens. From academic Stephen Salita, whose appointment was blocked by the University of Illinois for tweets about Gaza deemed anti-Semitic, to Angela Williamson, employee of Cricket Australia, sacked for tweeting about the Tasmanian government's abortion facilities, to economist Maya Forstater, dismissed from the think tank Centre of Global Development for tweeting about trans women that men cannot turn into women. Employers are increasingly policing the views of workers. It's a trend that should worry us. Indeed, employees should be judged by their ability to do their job, not their political views. To accept that employees should be sacked for their political views is a dangerous path. You see, this guy's writing in The Guardian. He's actually making some sense. Jesus Christ. Maybe we're at a turning point here, boys and girls. Organisation as a presenter is the image they protect to a degree as part of their job. Baker's case is more complicated. For someone who's a public face of an organisation as a presenter is the image they protect is to a degree part of their job. Protecting the organisation's image has become one of the excuses for sacking employees for their views expressed as private citizens. That trend should be resisted. Nevertheless, it's not unreasonable in certain cases for an organisation such as the BBC to consider the image of a presenter. Baker's case is different too, because he was not sacked for his views but for an error of judgment. My view is that a tweet, racist but not designed to be so, which was deleted and for which he apologised, albeit half-heartedly and disingenuously to begin with, I'm not sure about that, should not be a sacking offence. All of us make mistakes, even egregious ones. Those who recognise their mistakes and try to correct them should be treated with a degree of generosity. The problem though is that generosity tends to be in short supply these days. We are too quick to paint opponents in the worst possible light and to demand retribution for mistakes that people make. The desire for punishment is the other side of the craving to be provocative. It's time we question both sides of the equation. I ain't got no problem with a lot of stuff he said there. And he's an Observer columnist. Credit where credit's due. It's a very well balanced view, and it is true. It's true. It's problematic. It's very problematic. You know, I remember Facebook years ago when I was first, when it was first around, and we started to realise that you can become friends with people who employ you. They can see what people are writing on your, or what you're up to on your Facebook. I had some people writing on my wall some fucking, like some criminal shit. Nothing right about talking about getting up to criminal activity. I was like, what the fuck? I just messaged them. Don't fucking write that shit on my wall. People can see this. It's public. My employer there going, so what were you sticking in your nose on Sunday? That was years ago. So it does reach a stage where, should you be sacked for what you've been getting up to outside the workplace? No. But again, what he says is obviously it's a public broadcaster. But I think a few years ago, Danny Baker wouldn't have been sacked. So this is just a sign of the times as things are. But I think he got done. And I think a lot of people that have, had a go at him and said, yeah, good, well, you should have fucking known, are assholes, because they've probably done just as bad things, maybe worse things. A lot of people throwing stones out there. Living in big glass houses. It's true. Too many people quick to judge. Judge not. Thou should be judged last. Or thou should be judged first. I don't know, it's a DMX song. Go look it up. But yeah, that's what it seems to be to me. A lot of people deflect from themselves. When they see someone else fuck up, they'll go after them. You know, takes the heat off them a bit. It's moral outrage. What else could be said? How can you eloquently put it there? Yeah. We shouldn't be too judgmental. And there should be generosity. And people should make mistakes and have forgiveness. I mean, Jesus Christ. It's weird. You get people sort of calling for like prison to be a rehabilitation center rather than a punishment facility. And yet there is no sign of these, you know, similar people will forgive people for putting a tweet up of murderers and rapists, burglars. Don't know why I put burglars amongst murderers and rapists, but you know, they deserve a second chance. But Danny Baker, no, apparently not.